Okay, good. I'll kick off then. Welcome everybody, and thanks very much for joining us today. Gavin Foxall, I'm the chairman of the club, and I'm delighted that we're here today to welcome James Rowberry, and he'll speak to you in a moment. Also, to introduce you to Darren Kelly, who is our sporting director, who has been instrumental in the process that we've just done in the recruitment of James as well. I wanted to thank and put on record our thanks as a club to Cardiff City and to Vincent Tan and Ken Chu, who have been really helpful in helping a seamless transition from James Rowberry out of Cardiff City into our club. We've got a great relationship with Cardiff, and I think that's been reflected in the way that James was able to move from Cardiff to us. So I'm most appreciative of that, and wanted to put that on record and thank them as well.
Hello, everybody.
Hiya.
Hello, James.
How are you? You all okay?
All good.
Good.
Well, James, I'm kicking off. Firstly, how are you feeling? Because it's quite an honour to take over a club like Newport.
Yeah, I said it to the board the other day. It gives me goosebumps thinking about it, and so excited to be manager of the football club. It's kind of a dream come true in many ways to start my managerial career at the club that I've got lots of connections to. Being from Newport, living in Newport all my life, I am ecstatic to get going. But just to add to what Gavin spoke about with regards to Cardiff City, I had 8-9 fantastic years there, and for me, I am ever so grateful to Tan Sri, Vincent Tan, Mehmet Dalman, Ken Chu, Steve Borley, the board of directors for everything they've done for me, and also really Mick McCarthy in helping get this transition period done. So thank you to them massively, the players, the staff there. Amazing place and times I had. So yeah, just want to thank them as well, Beth.
Talk us through the process. Obviously, when Michael Flynn left, do your ears prick up? Because explain as well to maybe those who don't know that obviously you were a youth player at Newport County as well. So was there immediate kind of a little bit of a light bulb moment for you?
I think there's a natural attraction anyway, and I think I'll be naturally linked to it because of my connections to the club, and I go to the games a lot anyway because first and foremost I'm a supporter. So. And it being local and my relationship with Wayne, that I've been there often. So it is a role that would excite me, but going on to it, the football club's fantastic, and being around it, seeing it, being here today is just amazing.
As a fan, then, you would have experienced some of the incredible nights that Newport County have, put on for us. Giant killers in the FA Cup and other leagues cups as well. How difficult or excited are you about trying to carry on that kind of legacy, I guess, that Flinny's left, but also do kind of what he hasn't done, and that is promotion?
Well, Michael has done an amazing job at the football club. Let's face fact to what he did to keep the football club in the Football League, then to get to the playoff finals that he have. I think he's done an unbelievable job. With regards to that, Michael's done an amazing job, and to follow in his footsteps, they're big shoes to fill, because he's done an amazing job. But it's him and Wayne as well have done an amazing job, and I've got to try and continue that success and try and progress on and add value to the work that they've done.
I know that obviously you went to watch the game last night, and this is technically your first day in charge as such, but what will you bring to this team, and what do you want to change maybe or edit a little bit to go up to that next level in terms of the league?
Yeah, I think I've got a fresh set of eyes, which is the first thing. So I'm coming in afresh from a different football club. It's not about changing. I suppose I said to the lads this morning in the meeting I had with them is that it's more evolution and revolution. I think that's the important thing to remember. And through my experiences, I've seen that and dealt it as a first team coach at Cardiff City for the times I had. For me, it's about adding value, adding different bits that could hopefully make us better. But again, it's building on the successes from before. So again, it's evolution, not revolution.
And in terms of this being your first managerial job as well, we see every day the pressures manager under Mick McCarthy. We've seen that. We've seen Steve Bruce and what he said today. Extremes example maybe, but was it something you had to think carefully about? Did you have to speak to friends and family about it?
No, no, because it's all what I've always wanted to do. So it's kind of I've seen it firsthand. And when I spoke to the board, I think that they weren't concerned about that, which is quite refreshing, really, for them to do it. But I had it ready for the case of that all the managers I work with, they've done over, if I include backroom staffs as well, it's about 5,300 plus games between all of them. So if I need to pick up knowledge or I need to pick the phone up to anybody, it's for argument's sake, I have a Paul Trollope on today, Neil Harris, Mick McCarthy, Ronnie Jepson, all these people that I worked with before in contact to wish me well, and Tony Pulis today as well has been in contact. So I can pick the phone up to quite a lot of people if I need that advice. But also I've got a sound staff around me. I've got an amazing sporting director, chairman, and I've got that sounding board as well to hopefully take a bit of pressure off me as well.
Well, you look like you're buzzing for it. Last question from me. Given the connections you have with the club, not just you, your family, your supporter, is this your kind of like dream start to your managerial career?
Yeah, it's a dream start. Yeah, and that's the key for me. I've got to try and build to get success. And if I'm successful, and it's not about me, this is about the team, by the way. It's about the team. The team is successful. We as a staff, I'm successful, and then key to progression. But progression is key in it, and that's what I've got to do. So I've got to progress through my career, and that's my dream. That's my aim. Otherwise, I don't think the football club would appoint me anyway.
Listen, I'm buzzing for you. I can feel the energy off you as well.
Thanks,
so listen, good luck. I'm looking forward to being part of bigger nights as well with you.
No,
Cheers.
thank you so much.
Afternoon, James.
Afternoon, how are you?
I'm all right. It's been about 15 years.
It's been, yeah, well, I just think I think I read one of your tweets about something about the last time we would have been together or talking would have been about 15 years ago when you might have done, your wife done a press article?
Yeah, she's done a press article that I found from 2008. I think the articles I wrote on you kind of predate the Argus putting them on the internet. But
yeah,
obviously I do know that this really is, it's not just a cliche. This really is for you a kind of a lifelong dream.
Yeah, in many ways. Yeah, it is. It is. And that's why it's quite unique in the situation where for a football manager to come into a football club that is doing well at the minute on a playing front. Michael left on good terms and left a good squad behind. My working relationships with the staff are already there because I've either worked with them at Cardiff or one of them is my friend. I know the football club. I know how it operates and how it works. So for me, it's an amazing start to have an opportunity to my career. But I'm under no illusions that I've got to be successful. I'm under no illusions of that. So I've got to work as hard as I possibly can to push the football club forward.
When you started at Newport on the staff under Glyn Jones, the club was either the Southern League or the Conference South. Could you have imagined, not only would it be your first job in management, but that you take over the club in the Football League, established in the Football League, and if anything, kind of look into more to League One?
No, I probably wouldn't have done. And I didn't really know at that time in my career because I was probably about 21, 22. And I'll be ever thankful for Glyn Jones for what he did for me to bring me into the football club and still to this day in many ways what he does for me. But quite fortunate with that. But he gave me my opportunity at Newport and so what the cliche is behind it as well. My grandfather give him his opportunity went back in the 80s. So it kind of reciprocated that way. But to answer the question, no, I probably wouldn't have seen myself where the football club is, where I'm at. I've always been ambitious anyway. Always been quite driven. So I'm just over the moon to be manager of this football club.
And you can see why it would be an appointment that would excite the fans, because obviously you've got the kind of, because of your background at Cardiff, because of your credentials, the headlines of you being such a recognised coach at such a young age, but also you think like a Newport County fan, you understand how the fans think, the journey they've been through.
Yeah, and that's what I said to the lads this morning. I said that one of my key things for me as a manager is to try and promote excellence as much as I can, but I understand there's remits and restrictions sometimes you've got to do that in, and that's why I believe I understand how to get the best out of what we've got available to us to progress us forward. So, and from a fan's point of view, yeah, I get it, because if I always think if the football club does well, the city does. The city's thriving, and I've got a responsibility to push that forward with myself and the staff that I've got around me.
Beth touched on it before, but obviously you had a very nice job at Cardiff City. You've one of the only coaches, I think, that just survives manager after manager after manager and kind of never got moved on, which shows how highly the club thinks of you. But Newport County, well, I guess, was that call that you couldn't resist that opportunity to be the main man and to do it at your hometown club. Yeah,
for sure. And I've had, like I said, I've had amazing times at Cardiff, but there's been some tough moments as well along the way with the tragedies that happened and the issues that we've faced, but also had some amazing times. What I've got to do is draw on those experiences to try and, with my managerial skill set, if you like, to do that. And from a coaching perspective, fair play to Cardiff City from that, taking care of me in a sense that me being that continuous club appointment. I'm ever thankful for them. I will be.
What are you thinking, or what can you tell us in terms of your backroom stuff? I'm sure Chris and a lot of other people will be wondering what's going to happen with Wayne Hatswell for starters.
Yeah, I've had positive talks with Wayne this morning, so hopefully we can conclude that in the next couple of days. So my relationship with Wayne, I've known him since I was back at the football club in 2011 when Tim Harris was caretaker and Wayne was player coach. So our friendship has blossomed ever since then. So that's where I'm quite fortunate that I know the journey the football club's been on because of our discussions that we have and how we are. So hopefully that can be nailed down in the next couple of days.
You mentioned Tim Harris there. It's great for you that you've got kind of the whole gambit. You can talk to former Newport County managers, legends like Tim Harris, and then you've got obviously people in the game like you mentioned, Paul Trollope, another relation of yours or a distant relation of yours in Mr. Pulis. So it's a great sounding board for a young manager.
Yeah, it's amazing, and I am really fortunate. I'm really fortunate about that. But like I said to you, the most important thing is what the team does on the football pitch, and ultimately I've got to get results with that.
And just one final one for me, if I can, to take it to Gavin and to the director of football as well. Just why was James Rowberry the right choice? It's kind of been well documented in the Argus and other places that you had lots of candidates and lots of interest. So why did you decide that James was the right man for the job?
Well, to be honest, it was one of those when obviously Michael had left. It was getting together as a board to see where we wanted to go and what we wanted to do, and there was a very clear pathway on what we wanted to do and what we wanted to create and effectively bring into the football club. The football club now, I think, in regards to obviously James, is it's modern, and that's the way we want to be. We want, especially with the like of James and his history with the club, we wanted somebody to really take the club forward. Someone, you look at the football club with a fantastic academy. We've put a development team in there. So we've some fantastic players in the academy, someone that can come in and be a fantastic coach as you look at James's background and highly thought of. And bear in mind, when I went through this process, we agreed everything with the board, and I appreciate the board putting their trust in me to do that. I left no stone unturned, and the due diligence I did on every candidate was to make sure it's the right appointment, someone who can take the club forward, someone who can come in from the bottom and work the whole way up. And James, getting to know him and going through the interview process, was the absolute perfect fit his background in the academy, as I say, we have some fantastic players coming through. So we want someone who can play a part in that, someone who can bring them players through, give opportunity and bring them into that environment, as well as work closely with them. And as I say, we went through the process, and when we done the interview stages, James was the standout candidate. And, his passion for the club, the things he speaks about. It was even refreshing last night at the game where, all faces that he's seen, from probably hasn't seen in a number of years, came and embraced him. And it was fantastic. And speaking to James very closely over the last couple of weeks as well, the passion and love he has for the club is without doubt, I think, the best candidate to take the club forward.
Just to add to that, Michael, as well, and thanks for that, Darren. I agree wholeheartedly with all of that. Well, I think what's been interesting for us as a board, and obviously we've been fortunate that we haven't had to go through this process for a number of years. And James touched upon the job that Flinny had done here, which we all agree has been a fantastic job and a fantastic journey. And so it was slightly different in terms of what clubs normally find themselves in, and when they appoint somebody new. But I think for us as a board, what was quite interesting is that, and you never kind of know this until you're in these kind of circumstances, but I think it showed the calibre of candidates that we had who applied for the job, showed how much the club had progressed and the position that it was in. So it was an attractive proposition in that respect. And I think that was reflected in the candidates that Darren was speaking to. And I think the second thing for us as well, with those that did apply, I think the market has changed considerably. Darren touched on there around the progressive coaching and coaches that are around, and that again certainly reflected in the applicants that we had. And James obviously was one of those, and impressed the Darren initially, and indeed Darren then the board throughout the process that we've run. And we were delighted when James accepted the position, and we were able to announce yesterday. So yeah, we're really excited. We're looking forward to the future, and he's got an interesting game on Saturday with a derby against Bristol Rovers. It's a great game to come into, I think. But he'll have all the support that he deserves at this football club, along with Wayne and the backroom staff as well. And and the board are really excited and delighted to work alongside him.
Hey James.
How you doing? You okay, Chris?
Not bad, thanks. Not bad.
Good. It's nice to meet you.
And you. I've read
a lot of your articles, so please be nice to me.
Oh Christ! There we are. I was going to say I'm glad we got some new shots, because those pictures of you looking fresh faced. I think you've got my hairstyle now, so it's good.
Yeah, I seen a few of them. I used to have like a lovely blonde cowslet with blonde hair. My little girls have got it now, and at least they got it. I hope they don't lose their hair, but yeah, mine's gone. Probably it's probably genetic, because my dad's not got hair, but also it's probably the working in football for a bit of time as well.
In terms of your role, is there a difference between, you're obviously manager, head coach is used in some clubs. It's the first taking the plunge, isn't it, in terms of that managerial role where you have extras on it?
Yeah. Whether it's head coach, manager, tea lady, chef, you call me whatever you want in that sense, because ultimately I'm the one who got to pick the team and put the team out, and I'm responsible for it. So on that side of it, it's irrelevant. But from what the biggest thing, and I said to the lads this morning, is that from a coaching point of view, I think you all know my background and what I am. But from a managerial perspective, it's my responsibility to pick the team and put the best team out for the game that suits the game, and we got to try and win. And the buck stops with me. So I know that's what I've got to deal with, and that's the pressure I want to have. So, at the minute it's great. Everybody wants to speak to me and say hello, but hopefully that continues.
And in that front, how important is the link with Darren? Because obviously there's a lot of extra things that managers have to do, and I guess the whole point of the board bringing him in was to share that burden a bit. Yeah,
well, Darren's had experience as a manager as well as a player, so that helps me naturally from being able to relate to him from a managerial position. So I think especially in the last 48 hours, really, that mine and Darren's relationship has grown in the sense of the conversations that we had. And I can feel there's a trust there already, because first of all, he's trusted me and the board have trusted me to take responsibility. So we'll work quite closely together with regards to recruitment, if that's required, or if not, with regards to logistics, administration, academy development, analysis, sports science. He'll help me with that in trying to push the club forward with regards to developing the infrastructure, because it's not just about the team for me. It's developing the infrastructure of the football club, as well as developing the team.
And on the team front, 3 points off the playoffs, you're taking over a team that should be looking up, really.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I've got with the staff, I say we more, that we've got to push forward, and we've got to try and break forward, push forward, and winning football matches and being progressive in that sense. So yeah, I'm excited by it.
I mean, that's where Hats, I guess, is useful. The madness of League Two, because I mean, it's from second to Carlisle. It's so congested, and I know,
and I think I've experienced that at times in the Championship as well, where the division's quite tight at times. It was a few years ago, and it has been even during COVID when Cardiff were ninth, the next amount of points off the playoffs, then we end up in the playoffs when Neil Harris was there, because that was some achievement. So I think anything's possible. It's just at this initial stage is that we've just got to win as many football matches as possible. That's got to be my job.
How important is the style as well? Because Flinney brought in playing on the deck start of last season, really came through. How important is that for you?
Yeah, vital. I think that's what I've got to try and continue on the good work that he's done. And I think, and the way that Wayne's continued previously, is that I said to you before, it's more evolution, not revolution. And I've got to just add little bits of what I see in the games to progress us forward. I'm not going to say exactly what I'm going to do, because we've got a game Saturday. So, but we've got to try and develop even more what we're trying to do. So that won't change.
How hands-on are you going to be from? Well, obviously not going to be training today after game.
Yeah, train this morning.
Okay.
Yeah, train this morning. So I took the training myself, Wayne and Jared, with Jim. So, and with Binsey, sports scientist, we took training today. So we had the lads who didn't play, got a few development lads in. So we trained and give them a tough session today. So we worked with those guys, trained this morning. So that was something that was planned anyway. So the team usually works off a Thursday being off, which fits into our periodization model. So we'll continue to do that. So we'll be off tomorrow, but a chance for me for today and tomorrow really has got to be my focus on Bristol Rovers. So that's the aim for us and the staff in the next couple of days.
And is that leading on Hats a bit more than maybe you would normally, or are you going to go get straight in there, sort of?
Yeah, no. I think that the way that I work is that everybody plays a crucial part, small, big, or indifferent. So whether it's the kit man Leaky, or it's the physio, or it's the doc, or whoever, everybody's got a role to play. And I'm keen on to emphasise that really. Everybody at the football club affects the starting 11. It's not just the manager. It's ultimately the buck stops for me, and I take responsibility for everything, and I will. But ultimately, that everybody plays a part in those little 1% for us to move forward. But with regards to me leaning on Hats, well, we'll lean on each other throughout the whole time we're together.
In terms of your background, was it Beechwood you grew up? Is that?
No, it was Carisbrooke Road. So yeah, around that area. So it was Carisbrooke Road as a that's where I was born, and then I moved to up by Beechwood Park when I was a little bit older. Then yeah, I live in another part of town now, which I won't say.
I'm going to say you don't want that going on. Were you taken to county as a kid? Was that very much grew up with?
Sorry, can you say that again, Chris?
You went to county to watch him as a kid? Or?
Yeah, my dad played you when it reformed back in '89 when it was at Morton and Marsh. So I was a mascot there. So believe it, that was when I had blonde hair and lovely hair then actually. So I remember being a mascot. I remember walking out with Mikey Pratt and Norman Parcell. And Norman runs the community program now. So remember the team. It was, I couldn't remember them all. But Barry Fusello, John Relish, Graham Rogers, I think it was Tony Bird, Mike Pratt, Robbie Painter. So yeah, I can remember that team pretty well. But yeah, I can remember Norman quite vividly, but I also remember Mike quite vividly because he scared me a little bit when I was 5.
So favorite county player from as a fan?
Oh, I should say Jamie Morley because that's the agency I'm with. So I'll say Jamie Morley.
And the real answer?
Do you know what? I always, especially because when I was watching it when I was younger, but it was around that Conference South time. So Conference South and watching it. I always love watching Craig Reed play and then also only because of their type of player as well, Jason Bowen and Kevin Cooper. But if I'm going back any further than that, then I'll be honest with you, Chris, I can't remember.
Oh, well, I think you've got Ollie Cooper now playing.
Yeah. So Kevin texted me late last night. So I know his dad really well. So I think he's still in Malaysia at the minute, working over there. So I've got Ollie. Yeah, Ollie's a great lad as well. So yeah, looking forward to working with him.
What did you make of last night?
What I make of last night, I thought obviously it's just a disappointing start when you can see the goal early. But I thought the team responded excellently. Fair play to them. With regards to getting the 2 goals, the penalty, can't do anything about it. Disappointed that Ryan gets sent off, and obviously Ed gets sent off. But you can see there's so much to work within the team and be able to progress it forward that it really, really excites me. It really does. I said to the lad this morning, I said I cannot wait to get on the pitch properly and get some work done.
Yeah, it was probably the perfect snapshot of what you're going to experience.
Yeah.
Some wonderful moments, and then my God, what's going on?
That's football, though, isn't it? And then I always think if players could do everything, well, they'd be worth 50 million and be playing the Premier League. So we have to bear that in mind as well.
Yeah. Given all the people you've worked with at Cardiff City, what are we going to see? A little bit of Warnock in you, a little bit of McCarthy, a little bit of Trollope. What's going to come out? And I guess the other key thing in the style is nobody's enjoyed the style at Cardiff City of late. We're not going to see it out at Newport County, are we?
Well, first of all, to answer the first part of the question is that I'll be myself and I'll be quite authentic to who I am. So you take bits off everybody and you learn off them in different ways. But most important thing for me is to be my own man. And I'll do that. I'll do that well. With regards to styles, I generally believe that it depends on the players you got and what Newport have got. We're able to build what we got to build. So I'm coming into a team that I'm excited to work with, and I'll do that and progress them forward as best as I can.
And what's the main difference between being a coach and being the man in the dugout?
You're the man who makes the decisions, and the buck stops with you. So that's the major thing, and I don't mind that because I think the thing is, I'll stand and fall on my own decisions, and that's what I've got to do. Ultimately, I'll talk to the players about collective responsibility, so we don't blame each other. But when ultimately it does boil down to me, down to me and the decisions that are made. So that'll be the biggest thing. No one's got to pick the team. So it's easy when I've sat there before and said I'd play him here and I play him there and I'll do this and I'll do that. But it's my job, and that excites me as well. That's the pressure I want. That's what I'm kind of craving for to be able to do.
No, but it's a fickle business, isn't it?
Yeah,
and,
it is.
It's a fine line.
Yeah, that's fine, and I'm comfortable with that. I think the thing I'll get with the fans first of all is that they know I'll have the football club and the city at heart, so they'll know that, and they'll know that my passion for the city and passion for the football club. So I'm really comfortable with that. And the beauty of football is about opinions. So if we all did it the same way, we won't get all the same. We get all the same thing. So as staff in here, we might not agree with certain things, but ultimately, you got to have the opinions, because that's the beauty of the game. And also, supporters pay their hard-earned money to go and watch a football club, so they're entitled to what they want to say. So I'm really cool and comfortable with that.
You go into a wonderful training facility at Cardiff City. What are you expecting to walk into, or where are you expecting to walk into to train for Newport County?
Well, I'm sat in here now, so I love the place. It's Newport's place, so it's that I'm comfortable with with the facility. We've got reasonably good pitches at Dragon Park and Spitty Park, the stadium that we're on at the minute. And the facilities are what they are. You got to remember that Cardiff have played in the Premier League, so they've got the facilities that they've got at the training ground that they've got. But that doesn't bother me. This is part of the journey. This is part of the process for me to move the football club forward.
Hiya, James. Congratulations on the job.
Thank you very much.
Just want to ask, obviously you've come from Cardiff, and will we be seeing you using your links at the club to see maybe one or two of the youngsters come to Newport?
I hope so, Luke. I hope so. That'll be the plan. But I think the first thing I should go back on myself there. The first thing I've got to do is just assess the squad and what I've got and see when January comes. So if I am to use links, then yeah, sure. That could be in a variety of different ways, though. So that could be with the help of different departments that I can potentially lean on, quite purely because of the friendships I've got there. So with regards to loan players, well, let's see what comes in the next month or two.
We've mentioned Flinny. Has he been in contact with you? Has he had any words to say to you?
I spoke to him when he left. So my phone has been non-stop at the minute. So I've got about 245 WhatsApps and about 400 iMessages that I need to go through. So I did speak to him when he left about 2 weeks Friday ago, something like that. So that was the last time I spoke to him.
Is every player now on a clean slate with you?
Yeah, that was one of the things I said to the players this morning, that everybody starts on a clean slate. I think that's important when a new manager comes in. I've guaranteed them that, and I've guaranteed them my honesty in what I'm trying to do, but also said that with my honesty, I get humility. But please don't mistake my kindness as weakness. So that's really important for the lads, and they'll understand that because they're a great group of lads. Really, really great group of lads.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, James. It's Graham Thomas here. How you doing?
Hi, Graham. How are you?
Good, thanks. Yeah. Can I just ask you, you mentioned a major difference between coaching and management is that you get to pick the team. When, if ever, was the last time you picked a team?
Oh, what a good question that is. Probably when I was working in the academy to pick a young team. So yeah, a long time ago. But like I said to you, I get influenced. I'll get asked questions on team selection. But I think in your head as a coach, if I was that man in the hot seat, you're looking, well, what team would I pick? And I would do that every week anyway. So, and the thing is, I have no problem whatsoever in making decisions in that sense. So that's the nature of the beast.
Mike Flynn was very good at tapping into relationships and picking the brains of other coaches at a particularly high level as well. Often guys he'd done badges with and people like Jurgen Klopp, he'd spent time observing him in Liverpool. If you could have a week to go anywhere and learn and watch and observe, where would you go?
I would have gone to, believe this or not, non-football, the New England Patriots with Tom Brady, Bill Belichick.
Right.
So yeah, that's where I would have gone.
Explain a bit more. Why would you have gone there?
Because I think you learn more on the managerial side of things, of dealing with people with different cultures, and he manages over 80 people. So that's some skill set to have. So I think there's a bit of a difference on the coaching side of it, which I feel, by the way, I don't profess to be any sort of amazing coach. I just do what I do and get on with what I got to get on with. But I strive for development and trying to get better. And that's why if I could go and see somewhere, I would go and do that. And bear in mind, I've been to Cal in Berkeley to look at their high performance program with regards to the football teams there when I was doing my pro license and the American football team. So I'm quite keen on learning from other businesses and organizations as well, because I think that's a key part to my development too.
Yeah.
The mindset for me is kind of, Graham, is a better never stops mindset.
Right.
And I've got to pick different things from different people.
You mentioned Tony Poulis earlier on. Did you have a chat with him? What's he said to you?
Yeah, I spoke to him numerous times about if an opportunity ever come up about being a manager when I've been down to see him, when my family's gone down there with the girls and things like that. But I spoke to him this morning. I hadn't spoke to him before it. I hadn't spoke to him in the last 48 hours. So I spoke to him this morning and he said, ultimately, your head's on the chopping block now. So let's see what you got to do. So, and he's always at the end of the phone. So that's there to help me.
Tony is considered very much old school. Mick McCarthy, in a sense, is considered old school. You're a young coach. Is the old school over, or do you take bits from both?
I take bits from both because that's important. I think people say old school, but a new school and this, that, and the other bit. It's about, for me, it's just about dealing with people first and foremost. I think everybody has a view on the game, how a game model should be played, how a philosophy should be undertaken, how training should operate. But for me, the most important thing in managing is dealing with people. And that's what I've got to do is deal with people. And I think I'm reasonably okay at it because I wouldn't have stayed at Cardiff for 8 years under 5 different management teams or 6 different management teams. So I'm quite comfortable in that sense. But again, it's the honeymoon period. So it's when and I want the pressure. That's what I'm thriving for. So yeah, that's.
You talked about how supportive Cardiff City have been throughout this process. I'm just curious. I mean, Michael outlined just how highly they thought of you. How did they initially react when word of this move?
So with regards to Ken Chu, Steve Borley, they were amazing. So they were amazing in that, knowing that it was part of my development, and the same with a gaffer really with Mick and TC. They were fully appreciative that this is part of my development, part of my journey. That I want to have success and cut. And in some ways, it's difficult for me to say it because I've talked about trying to be humble and have a bit of humility, but Cardiff have to take some credit for keeping me there, for being part of that process all this time to then allow me to do it. So with Ken, Steve, Mehmet and Tan Sri, I am so grateful for allowing me to have this opportunity.
Was an opportunity like this, was there ever anything like this cropping up before during your 8 years at Cardiff? Because I mean, as I said, highly rated.
No, it's my first time. So my first chat with the board, is kind of the first time I've really been in front of a board. So, in that capacity. So, yeah, it was pretty proud really to be sat here today and saying that I'm the manager of the football club.
And those conversations with Mick, was Mick on hand just to give you a bit of advice, or just to
from all different aspects, contractually. From a mindset viewpoint about being awake at 4 o'clock in the morning and having to watch TV because you can't sleep, thinking about team selection and a variety of different things. And I generally mean this when I say this, and I'm sincere in what I say. He is an amazing human being. Such
Thanks a lot. Cheers. Thanks a lot, James, and all the best.
Thank you.
Hi, James. It's Chris from the Football League paper.
Hi, Chris. How you doing?
I'm all right, thank you, mate. I was just going to ask you, going back to a point Graham was talking about this when you were managing people and the man management skills. How much of that was helped by your sort of really early days? Because I know you worked in the community and things like that, didn't you? So how much of that was sort of helped by that stage of your life?
Yeah, I spoke to the Cardiff City Foundation. They've got a program that they run for BTEC sports studies students from 16 to 19. And I spoke to them last week, and I said about me working I used to work in the community first area in Somerton in Newport, and it would be classed as a socially deprived area. And I work with a lot of kids, young people, but also work with senior people as well. When I was 18, 19 in those areas, and that skill set helped me to be able to deal with people and speak to people and communicate and be effective in that sense. So that's been fundamental to me in my development, working with children with special needs, working with kids who are on the cusp of expulsion in schools, and then delivering on the coaching courses and working my way up from level 1 to level 4, delivering on those courses for the FAW has hopefully stood me in good stead to be able to manage and lead.
Yeah, because I guess managing a football is nothing when you, I guess, as you say, with kids who are about to be expelled from school and from tricky backgrounds and things, it's probably not much different, is it? Or certainly easier.
Yeah, or try managing my little 2 girls at home. then that's a different thing altogether.
But how much is because I know Neil Warnock, it's a real skill of his as well, because I know Neil really well, and it's always been his big thing is managing people as much as doing anything else. So how much did you take from him?
Yeah, so sometimes I've learned from like pure coaching schools and pure management schools. And I suppose when that you would learn from a pure management school, I had to deal with people and communicate with people. So he did that extremely well his whole career, because otherwise he wouldn't have 1,000 games.
Yeah, no, that's it. And what sort was it that he did specifically? Because I've spoken to a lot of players who couldn't really explain it. They just said they would run through brick walls for him, but they didn't really know why. Yeah,
it is quite hard to explain it. Maybe it was his man management, his way that he kind of tried to make certain players feel. He did it to a good effect, because ultimately he got Cardiff City promoted, didn't he? So you do learn elements of things that he did extremely well. And to get 1,000 games, you wouldn't be able to do what he does effectively unless you could do it really well, which he does.
Now, and listen, last one from me, I was going to ask you was, in terms of you coming into a job now, obviously we know about your reputation as a coach, but is it slightly tougher for you to win over a dressing room because you haven't got a playing background and you haven't got the managerial reputation of someone like Neil or someone like Mick who've won promotions and things?
Everybody starts somewhere. And the thing is, I don't think I'll have to have a conversation with the lads about playing experiences, because I don't think I would have coached in the Championship or the Premier League. So I'm quite comfortable in the sense of that I've not played professionally. I can kick a ball or I can control a ball. So I have played as a kid, but the point is that other managers might have not had glorious playing careers either. And some managers who have had glorious playing careers have not always had success. So it works both ways. That's why I generally believe it's about dealing with people and communicating with people and having strong relationships. And I can feel that already with the change room when I met with them last night and also this morning.
Fantastic. Well, best of luck, James. Thank you very much.
Different class. Thanks, Chris.
Cheers.
Darren, just wonder from your point of view, how rare it is to find someone with the calibre of coaching that James has, but also the fact that he has this obvious emotional connection to the club as well.
Yeah, well, do you know what? Even listening to him speak there, Beth, it's absolutely refreshing. You know, his journey was exciting. As I say, when I went through detail of all the candidates, you know, you look at his journey and it's tremendous. And bear in mind that 28 is, you know, it was the world's youngest UEFA Pro license. That's the highest coaching qualification. That in itself shows, you know, somebody who's highly ambitious, wants to achieve. And I've known of his journey at Cardiff. And, you know, aside from that, as he spoke about the managers that he's worked with, the tools that he would have gained, obviously he'll have his own authentic way of doing things, but the tools he's got in his armour, you know, that he's, you know, under your Warnocks, your Mick McCarthy, these are some of the best. And, you know, as I say, coming into the role and what he's going to bring to the table, for me, is exciting, you know, in every way, and looking forward to working closely with him.
And just on what you're expecting now, obviously with Flinney, there was almost a get out of jail card because of the way that he saved the club from getting relegated. Obviously, there were those amazing cup wins. So you're new to this role as well. So what is the expectation, if you don't mind me asking that?
Yeah, well, I think it's, you know, the first and foremost is James to come in and settle in. You know, obviously there's staff and everything there that he's going to work closely with. Obviously there's the squad, and then it's just a matter of taking there. The January transfer comes in. So a lot of early days coming in, especially, Beth, is to assess what's there and put his view and his detail on it. And we'll work very closely. As we said, you know, my experience of, you know, again, being in a similar environment is to support James in everything that he needs, because myself and the board, we all want him to come in and be successful, even more so, especially being from the area. You know, when we spoke to him in regards to the family connections with the club and how highly, you know, he speaks of the club, you know, for me, it's just an exciting time, and I'm looking forward to working closely with him to achieve, and it's going to be a joint effort from everyone.
And last word from me. So effectively, it's not, as you know, the cliche rebuild, but this is about building on the foundations you already have to go to that next level. And that is important, isn't it? Because that is, you know, the target which has been missing, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's the thing, you know, again, with James's background, you look at working from bottom up in terms of the academy and the development team and the first team and bringing players through. That's what we want to create as well. Give young players opportunity to play in the first team, especially from the local area. You know, so there's been great work done with Wayne and Michael in the past. And what we got to do now is be progressive with it. We got to forward think and really push on. And I think James is absolute, you know, I've spoken with him at length and we've connected straight away. We're very much on the same page with everything and we know what we need to do to achieve. It'll be a lot of hard work, but we've got the work ethic, we've got the drive, we've got the ambition, we've got the passion and enthusiasm to go and achieve that. And we'll throw absolutely everything at it to go and do that. And we'll leave no stone unturned and to achieve that, Beth.
And that is, with that dreaded word time, that means he will have time to do that as well.
Oh, absolutely. You know, because as I say, you know, our connection is important. You know, our thing is to go and drive and push things forward. You know, it's a project. It's not going to happen overnight. As I say, James has got to come in and work things, and that's me working very closely with him. But there's, you know, the big thing is to get in, get on with things and work hard to achieve.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Beth.
Hi, Darren. In terms of your role, it's fair to assume you didn't expect to be doing a job hunt so soon.
No, do you know what? We didn't, Chris, in that regard. As I said, it happened, but obviously the way things have happened, you know, everything's on good terms in that regard. But that's why it was important, Chris, because there's been great work done previously, and what we had to do now was really kick it on, you know, and I think that was important. That's why I go back to, as soon as, you know, Michael left his role, it was important to straight away work with the board. I had my ideas on things in regards to how we go, and to be honest, a lot of preparation is about what if Michael goes. So it's always keeping your finger on the pulse, because it's going to happen. You know, if a club was to come in and look to speak to Michael in that regard, you know, it can happen because of the success that he's had. So I always had to be on the pulse. But when it came down to speaking with the board and we ironed everything out, what type of candidate that we were looking for, then it was a matter of going to, you know, the meticulous detail of working around the clock to make sure it's right. It wasn't, we worked a time scale. So I effectively presented to the board a time scale and how we do things, and not being rushed in it. It was just about me getting to work and to make sure we get the right candidate. We've done it to the detail. You know, the board were absolutely superb in every way, you know, and the trust and support they've given me to do this, I'm really grateful for. And as I say, the process flowed, everything went with it. And I've said it 100 times to, you know, many different people. James was a standout candidate and is without any shadow of a doubt the perfect candidate to take this great club forward. And do you know what? Somebody, I think, you know, again, the supporters will back 100%, especially the fact he's from the area and a club that, again, the supporters, they'll be proud of the work that I believe that we can go and achieve.
From your point of view, I don't know the process. Were you in the final interviews, or did you leave that to the board and you're sort of there going, I know I'd go, but...
No, I again, worked very closely with the board. I basically prepared it all for the board, you know, and I think that was important. That's why I say I'm eternally grateful for the trust they've shown in me. You know, spoke to the chairman at length and it was absolutely amazing and everything. He said, you know what, this is your process, go and do it. And to get that trust was just amazing, and that's why through the, you know, again, leaving no stone unturned to make sure we get the right appointment. I give absolutely everything to make sure we got the right appointment, and I believe without any shadow of a doubt we have.
On that front, can you say something about how good Hats has been, because you haven't had anything?
What? Sorry, I missed that, Chris.
Do you have a word about how good Hats has been, because you haven't rushed anything, because he has kept the standards high, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's it. And again, you know, you look at the work Hats has done over the last, even with Michael, and has been absolutely tremendous. I go down to training, as I say, and I watch them and train, you know, and the work ethic and the attention to detail. And I was speaking to the chairman about this last night. The work, and again, when Michael left, obviously, you know, for Hats to go on, take everything on board, and the way he handled that. was absolutely brilliant. And again, linking that into, you know, Wayne and James working together, I think it'd be absolutely fantastic. Seeing Wayne work in the training pitch is absolutely outstanding. You know, there's a fantastic staff, a group of staff there that work very closely together. They're close knit. And then you throw James into that again, who's, you know, and again, I spoke to a lot of people when I do the diligence into people, and it's amazing the people you speak to who speak, you know, in regards to James, of what an outstanding, you know, coach he is on the pitch as well, how he works well with people. And you put that together, and you're going to challenge each other in a good way. They're going to get the best out of each other. And I'll be honest with you, Chris, I'm so excited about it, you know, because, you know, it's all right having one person on the pitch and doing stuff, but when you have somebody who's of the same quality, that's also an extra pair of eyes to add to that, and the detail is absolutely, you know, fantastic and exciting, in my opinion.
On another one of your roles is obviously involved in recruitment. It's quite a big squad, a lot of seniors at the moment. So yeah. Well,
again, you know, James will, you know, it's up to James to assess and see how we are. You know, at the end of the day, you know, there's a new manager in place. All the players will want to impress. He will give the players time to do that. And over time, again, you know, working very closely with it, we'll see how we go. We'll see how we go in January. You know, but, you know, there's a bigger picture in it all. There's young lads coming through as well. But yeah, it's just a matter of working with James closely and see what he wants to do. And then, you know, we've got, and it's something I've been preparing for a long time in terms of we have a player database of players, and you know, when it comes down to recruitment, and if James feels, you know, he needs one or two in for one or two to go out, I'll support that. But what I effectively do is I'll do the groundwork. The decision will always be him. And if he thinks, you know, again, there's players he can bring in that's going to help the team push on and get promotion, brilliant.
And also that's backed up by the work that Damien Broad and everyone's doing in
professional. You know what? Yeah, and that's again, it's a big part of my role. Is to, you know, again, to work in all these areas. The work Damien and the guys have doing, Damien Juan and Danny and that has been tremendous. And then you look at the development team now, obviously with Kev Ellison and that, the pathway is exciting because there's that clear pathway with young players to come through and play games against quality under 23 opposition or reserve teams, whatever it may, like at Cardiff and your Swansea's games that we've already penciled in, Chris. So, you know, there's a lot of great work there that's been done in the academy, but what we have to do is support, encourage them so that effectively then with the work obviously with James, that we can continue to bring these players through, which I think is it's massively important to the football club.
Because Flinney always did that as well, didn't he? He wasn't shy in giving youth a chance.
No, that's it. You look at obviously the cup games, and now you give opportunity to the likes of an Iron and young players. There's a lot of, especially young internationals, who are looking for that opportunity. And now that James is in, and they'll be looking at what he's done in his history and youth development, and they'll be thinking he's going to, you know, he can make me better. And again, it's such positive talks that we've had on that. So they'll be excited. They'll be looking to impress, and they'll be looking forward to the future at the football club.
Great stuff. Cheers for that. I'm glad you.
Thanks, Chris.
I think we're done. Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks, James. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Nice to meet you all.
Thanks, Chairman.
Thank you.
See everyone. Yeah. Thank you all.
Bye.